Well, hello everybody. Brian Regan here, sitting in front of a brick wall. See that brick wall back there? Whoa, I see Cameron Gove down there. I see two people sitting. They can't. I can. How's that work? They can hear me, but I can't hear them. Sorry, Cameron. You don't know. Me and Scott just figured that out. That you can't actually talk until I bring you in. So, but I see you down there. So, just doing a quick little intro here before we start at 4 o'clock. Got two relatively new champions, but they are first time champions in the last 2 months anyway. I can't remember when Cameron won. It was about a month and a half ago, I think. We got Cameron Gove and Scott Matthews, both from mid Michigan, lower mid Michigan. You always got to say that because mid Michigan, if you include the UP, is up by Clare. So I think they say Clare is the geographic center of Michigan. That might just be the lower peninsula, actually. But anyway, so yeah, we had both of those guys. Scott just won recently. I'm gonna wait about another minute, see if we get some people to come in, and then we'll start the interview. I can go over last night. We had a sweeper last night. Let me pull that up real quick. We had, in shocking fashion, Justin Knowles won that one. He defeated Frank Snodgrass in the finals. That was a great final there. We had 247 for Justin, 190 for Snodgrass. It was close all the way until the end. I think about the ninth frame, I want to say Frank opened in the eighth or ninth, and that kind of created some separation. But anyway, I'm going to bring Scott in. It's 4 o'clock, so. Whoa, there's Scott
Whoa.
Matthews.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. How are you, buddy?
Not too bad.
Looking pretty radical there.
Tried to make sure I had a good shirt on. I had to change before I got on here.
Oh, I know. I gotta make sure my hair doesn't look horrible, like I just woke up or something. Since I kind of just woke up a few hours ago, but I've been staying up till
That's
4
all
or
right.
5 in the morning. Now my hours are all messed up right now.
I can't do that.
So I already forgot which one did you win recently. I know you had your first title.
Yeah, I won the one in Ithaca.
Ithaca, yeah, that's a cool little place too. And yeah, that played brutal. We'll get to that in a minute, but I'm gonna share the screen here real quick. Whoa.
Whoa.
So okay, here's Scott Matthews. I didn't realize this is all your events you bowled. Can you see it
Okay.
on there?
Yeah, I can see it.
So I forgot that I actually met you at the I Grind Shootout in 2013. That's
Long time ago.
that's pretty
Yeah.
wild. That was a big money tournament. I think they were guaranteeing like was it 30 grand?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
30
don't.
grand, and there was like if someone shot 300, there was it was
Yeah.
the biggest hoax ever. Supposedly
Yeah. Wasn't it like
supposedly the winner got
Hummer or
a
something?
what's that?
Wasn't it if you shot 300, you got like a Hummer or
It
some
was a
free cars?
vehicle, but we found out later on that it wasn't even that. You had it. What it really was you had to match two like prices right. You had to draw two cards
Oh.
and match the front and the back. So it was virtually impossible to win that vehicle, and no, they never advertised it that way. So that was going to be a mess if that happened. And there were like 5 or 6 people with the front nine that day, so that there would have been a riot in that building.
Yeah, it was. I know I never had to worry about it. I did pretty
Right.
pretty terrible.
I remember Andrew had the front 8 or 9, and he was he was probably 16 or 17 back then. He was a
Yeah.
young guy. But yeah, so you've been bowling these since 2013. Actually, our event since 2014. Let's
Yep.
scroll all the way. And I remember I first met you. I want to say you bowled my summer league in Flint, didn't you? The Sport Shot League.
Yeah, I graduated high school, and I think 3 weeks later, me, MJ Fabus, and Mike Taphouse joined your
That's
trio league.
that's who it was. I couldn't remember the two names, but I remember there were two other Owasso area guys.
Yep. Yep. We decided it was probably going to be a good idea to come out there and bowl that before we went up to school at Saginaw.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember meeting you there.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at these real quick, and there's quite a contrast with you and Cameron when I interview him later. So early on, you had some success. The first MSBS event, you made the cut. You can see you made some cuts here, and and then you missed a few. Honestly, you were still kind of under the radar, in my opinion. And let me look back and see when it was. When was the Lapeer tournament? For me, here we go. October 4th to 6th, 2019 was kind of like, and again, you had success before that, but that was the one where I remember the top four. I think it was you. Let's bring it up. It was you, Mike Eaton,
It was me, Mike, Snodgrass, and
Aaron Lawrence.
Yep.
And everybody had to kind of play like between 5 and 10, relatively straight. And there's only one guy out of that four who likes to do that, Aaron Lawrence. I remember, and Snodgrass can kind of make his own thing, but watching you and Eaton Jr. that day do what you guys were doing, playing the lanes, and you guys were playing that line. You guys were kind of playing straight up the boards, right around, just right a second arrow. It was super fun to watch that. And then ever since then, you've been just killing everything. It seems like.
Yeah, it was that was kind of the big tournament. I actually was going through some back stuff at that point too. I was having like a back injury that not a lot of people knew about. So
Oh, I didn't know that either.
yeah, toward the end of I actually had to pull out of a regional not too long after that. But
oh wow, I think I do. I think I do remember that actually. Yeah.
Toward the end of the day at that tournament, I was getting pretty sore, pretty stiff. But that was actually in qualifying. I just found a look with a conspiracy hybrid that was crazy. It was like I was blowing on house for a minute, and even Nidifer was next to me, and I remember him just being like, "I don't know how you have that look." I don't know either, but
for him to say that means something, right?
Yeah, it was cool. That's kind of when, like you said, it was a little bit of a coming out party, I guess, for me.
That's how it was for me. I remember, like I said, you were a decent bowler in our tournament, so like that was super impressive. And plenty of guys have that one tournament, honestly, and then they might fizzle off a little while. But you just kept doing it. I mean, you've been making cuts, you've been leading events. I mean, here you made 4 rounds here. You look at all these events, a lot of success, man. You didn't miss many cuts since then. And let's get up to Ithaca here. 2022. I mean, this year you've been just killing everything you bowled, and that actually started in 2021. Ithaca. Let's bring this one up. So here's your win. Beat David Owens in the finals, right?
Yeah. Tried to give it away. Look at that. Trimmed up the beard a little bit for you too.
Oh yeah, I just noticed you. Let me go back and look at my screen here. Oh yeah, you definitely trimmed it up. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's you and David Owens, and I think he's. Do you remember? Did he say he'd won a title yet or no?
I'm pretty positive he has at least one, maybe two.
I think he's got a couple. So let's go to qualifying real quick. Another shocker. So only 2 guys were plus though. You and Knowles. That place played really, really hard. The number was super low. Knowles did what he does, and he's the only lefty in the tops. Well, Matt Crawford is a lefty. So two lefty. Knowles does that when they're not exactly like walled up on the left. He still leads it. He's just amazing. And then you were 8-12.
Yeah, I think for Knowles, if it says MSBS in front of it, it doesn't really matter what's out there.
It seems that way. He's got a lot of confidence for sure. This was the MSBS Caliandra Tergemina, and I remember this. This was the one 40, even though it is 43 feet, it's designed to play outside. You see this taper on the outside. Yeah. And that house did not play the outside.
No, it which is funny though, because at the end of in the championship match though, we did play. We played right, so it was like, probably game 7 to 8 ish is when we finally were able to play right.
I do remember that you guys did bounce back right, didn't you?
Yep, because in the semifinal match I was able to play left, like a 20 to 8 ish look.
Yeah,
and that just was not there on that final pair. So
yeah, I remember that because you look at the middle of this pattern, it's super flat. Like you just don't want to be there. So when the gutter isn't playing, you end up with scores like we had in Ithaca. So that was fun. Yeah. So your first match, let me see. You had a bye the first round.
Yep.
Semifinal, Owens beat Knowles. That was a nice thing for you. But either way, David's tough too. And you beat Shaber, we got to get him in here too. He just got his first title recently. Young
Yeah,
guy, I think he's did he graduate last year or this year?
I believe it was this year, if I remember
I think
right. And
you're right.
he was the only one that had fronts. He had front 10 that day too.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, he bowled
Yep.
really good. And so you got him 233 to 148.
Yeah,
Um,
that score is a little not as true as what it looks. He had a lot of bad breaks, a lot of good shots that didn't didn't carry or just got tapped on. I think he had a pocket split in there too.
yeah, and
So
that's easy to
that
happen
could
in
have
the
been a lot
house.
closer. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep.
even with their newer lanes, the house just plays hard. I know the carry is not great and all that. And then you and David had a heck of a match in the finals, 200 to 198. Walk us through that match.
Last shot of the warm up, decided to try to go back right because that's where he was playing, and I had nothing up until that point. Struck, so I said, "All right, let's try there," and came out. I had front five. I had a pretty commanding lead on him for a minute, and then in the sixth frame, I thought I aced it off my hand and 2-4-8-10. And then seven pinned on the left lane on the next frame, spared. He started striking at that point, and then I struck on the right lane, stuck a little bit 2-4-8-10 again, which I didn't think it was that bad of a shot in the ninth. He gets up and he strikes out. He forces me to, I believe, double. Got a little slow, I think. 3-pin spare strike. So I just needed 7 pins. Got up and again thought I aced it and 2-4-10. So it
Wow.
went from the kind of finding a random front five. I was like, oh, I'm gonna kind of run away with this to really sneaking by. It was a good thing I started out so hot, and Dave never gives up. Uh, we've bowled as a doubles at states the last few years, so it's kind of fun, bowling with a friend like that. But it gets tough because then you start joking around and you kind of lose a little bit of focus. And I think that happened a little bit too. But it was a fun match. It was a good match. Happy to come away with the win, but it was closer than it probably should have been.
Yeah, and he is a super grinder, like you said. He's gonna grind out everything. And I remember that match now because I mean I remember noticing that your break points were identical, really, but you were definitely left of him, and you were
Yeah,
throwing a quicker, shinier piece. It
yeah.
wasn't
It
a
was
quick piece, but it was quicker. He was throwing a super slow ball.
super slow ball. I don't remember exactly what it was throwing, but super slow ball with surface, if I remember right.
Yeah,
And then
I think it was a radical ball too, if I remember right.
I was in a radical ball. I don't think he was. I don't remember
No,
what he was throwing.
okay,
I went to the radical sneak attack, which I actually just gotten that day. One of the new pieces we got, a low end like hybrid, and it was funny. It actually gave me bounce right, but then when I missed in a little bit, that's when it would hang. So I didn't see the hang because I didn't, try playing right until that last shot. So uh, still better than what the other options I would have had. If I had through what I was trying to do originally, like in at like 20, I'd probably shoot 140 trying to play in there.
yeah, it was that touchy too. I mean, it just wasn't very easy, and like you said, that finals pair wasn't what
Super
you guys had
tight.
been seeing. Yeah,
No.
we got some people in the chat here. I don't know if can you see the chat too?
Um.
I don't know how that works with you
Oh,
guys.
yeah. Looks like he was throwing the Zen Master. Is what I'm seeing. Is
Okay.
what.
Well, I see Jaron Zimmerman is saying Scotty Tony Hart's in here. He says you got the best beard in bowling. Joan Jackson says hi, so
Hey,
they're all in here
I
watching. But
I figured Jaron was on. He I got a Snapchat right when we started. So from him.
and that's Dannon's brother, right?
Yep. Yep.
Dannon.
Dannon's oldest brother. Yeah. Or
Okay,
older brother.
some more Owasso area guys, right?
Yeah. Except for he's down in Florida now.
That's what I
Jaron
heard.
is.
I think me and Cameron were talking about that the other day that he'd moved down there. So
Yep. Enjoying the nice weather all the time.
yeah, you got any? I know you've been bowling a lot of PBA events too. Do you have anything planned right now?
I got to sign up for the uh, regionals coming up here in Ohio at like Michael Davidson's place. That's the one during the week.
Yep.
It's the second week of August, and then Coldwater's that weekend. So those are
Doing
the two
both.
that I'm. Yeah, I plan on bowling both of those. I made the cut at the one at Davidson's place last year. I was the number. So, or no, I'm sorry, I cashed. I was the cash number. So hoping to make the cut this year, and
Yeah.
then hopefully Coldwater goes better. It was a kind of a brutal. It's brutal anyways, but that was not, it was brutal for sure
Coldwater's
last
tough,
year.
man. That's another
Yeah.
place they put new lanes in, what, 5 or 6 years ago. Didn't get any easier.
No, I know I had a chance at 270 game one, and I think I had 3 or 4 Brooklyns crossed with Andrew and Chris Prather, and they're just laughing. I ended up shooting 240, and I was like feeling down. They're like, "Man, take it, especially here. Take it as much as anything you can get."
Seriously, and I want to say that's the place. Isn't that where Chris Vi always bowls good?
I'm not. I mean, Chris Vi always bowls good, so
Yeah, period, right?
especially recently. But
Yeah.
that's where Darren, I believe, won his first one this last summer.
Darren who?
Darren Ting.
Oh, did he really? Okay.
Yeah, because it was a summer event last year, and
Nice.
they're not doing the summer swing this year. They're doing
Okay.
super regionals, which is what that one will be.
Right. Yeah, it's been a super regional for probably 4 or 5 years. I think I bowled it the first. I never bowled it when it was a super regional. I bowled it when, and they still paid like 10, like 6, 7, 8 grand, I think at least, before it was a super regional, because they get a
Okay.
ton of sponsors. They got a really nice spread down there for food. It's
Yeah,
it's an amazing event.
it's fantastic. It was a ton of fun. Yeah, it was a great time. Both events were. They had stuff to do outside. People were hanging out, drinking. Had great food. So it was a lot of fun.
For sure, yeah. In Minster, Ohio, that's a cool little place.
Minster, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we had a tournament there too. Yeah, Doug Davidson owns that one. Michael's dad.
Right. Yep.
Really cool little place, just town in the middle of nowhere, kind of like Coldwater, right? And they're not far from each other.
Yeah, I got to stay with Michael last year in Versailles, and I loved it. Like, it's just a middle of nowhere place. I was like, reminds me of my hometown. It's just small, just smaller than Owasso, really. So,
fair enough. Yeah, it's
it
a
was
cool
fun.
little area.
Yep.
All right. Well, we better get to Cameron. Don't want to leave him hanging down there forever. So thanks for the interview, and
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
yeah,
Thanks for doing all that you do. I appreciate you running as much as you do.
Can't do it if you guys don't bowl, so I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
So thanks for everything, and yeah, we'll talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brian.
Yep. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right. So that was Scott Matthews out of Owasso, Michigan. And we're going to just jump into this next one with Cameron Gove. So we're not going to leave him hanging anymore. There you are.
What's up, Brian?
Oh, I should have left my background, man. We could have had matching backgrounds. Because I had that same background before I had this one. But
this is totally my house. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. I don't know what that black stuff is behind me there. I don't know what's going on there. We need to get green screens. Then it doesn't do that, right?
I mean, the green screen should help, but I believe it's your office chair. I can't tell your office chair away from the surroundings in the background.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the reason I do this. My cats scratch up my office chair, so it looks like crap behind me. So. But you're probably right there. So let's jump to let me close out his page. Let me bring on the screen sharing here. So let's jump to you real quick. And you won the event in Lakeview, which we'll get to that in a minute. That's a whole nother story.
Oh yeah. That was a great day.
Yeah. We laugh. You'll find out why, everybody. So I forgot that I met you at Snowden Lanes at the team challenge in Allegan.
Oh yeah.
2018. So I didn't even know you. I remember there were a few different Camerons that had just started bowling, and you were one of them. And yeah, you didn't bowl that bad that day, but you had some events right after that where you were pretty rough.
Yeah.
And I don't mind saying that now because you've turned it all around. But this is what I was talking about with the contrast between you and Matthews. When you started, let's look at all these events. Qualifying. Bowled twice at the Gerlach's tournament.
That day was rough.
That was hard.
18 games in a day was rough.
Yeah. Oh, you bowled both in one day, didn't you? Yeah. To this day, that's probably my favorite tournament we've ever run. But look at all these events and notice that, I'm doing this for a reason. He didn't make any cuts. Look at all this. And look at all the events that he's bowled. So here's the first one you made was the Carl Muller non-champs event. You made the cut for that one. Looks like you lost in the first round. Do you remember that one very well?
Yeah, actually, that was shortly after the Forged Flare was released. And I was trying to, that's on the 2013 Masters pattern. And I was trying to play right with the Alpha Jackal, and it was just too over under. Like if I missed a touch left, I would go way left, and if I missed a touch right, it would just hang out there.
Right.
And the Forged Flare blended that out enough that I actually had room. So I was playing probably 20 out to like 7 with the Forged Flare for most of qualifying. And then it was just a matter of catching the spares. And then after that, once I couldn't get the Forged Flare to sit there for long enough, I switched all the way down to the Supra, which is the cleanest, most angular ball in the bag. And I didn't have any miss left, but if I missed a board left, I'd go Brooklyn, and I'd carry the Brooklyn, which that's 90% of how I made the cut that day.
Right. Can you see the screen right now? Is it showing up?
I can see it, but I can't quite. Oh, yeah, now I can.
But it's there. I'm just making sure. Sometimes I worry I didn't do it right, so I'm still learning all this stuff. So, yeah, you qualified 14th. We had 91 bowlers. That was our biggest non-champs event. And I know we didn't do it last year because I was still recovering from my surgery and stuff. We got to get that tournament back this year, though. That was a good one.
I mean, I don't know if Scott and I want it back anymore because now we got a bowl in the champs.
Yeah, you guys don't care about that one anymore, right? I need to get some added money for that champs event because we only get like 20 or 30 people, but it's always you usually get pretty good action because it's 20, 30 big name guys. So that's always still a good one. But I hear you. Yeah, you look at this whole field, some pretty strong bowlers who didn't have titles back then. Charles McLeod still doesn't have a title, which is shocking. He hasn't bowled a lot, but he had a few years where he bowled a ton, and he's a really, really good bowler. Jeremy Delkamp, I think he won one finally.
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't think he's eligible anymore. Briguglio is another one. Alec Keplinger's, if he hasn't won one yet, he's going to win multiple.
Yep.
He's extremely good. Magellan, I think Magellan might have won one, but I'm not sure about that either. But yeah, Leon Lucene, lots of really good bowlers on this. Michael Davidson.
I was going to say Michael Davidson's on that list of being a non-champ.
Did he win that event? I don't think he did.
I don't think so. I think he made it one round farther than I did, and then he got eliminated.
Oh, Ryan Mao won that, so he's out of it. He can't bowl anymore. Alec almost won that one. There you go. Nathan Haas, another strong bowler. Charles McLeod bowled far. So that was a good event, and that was a good one for you to make the cut. And even though it's a non-champs event, that was a very strong non-champs event.
Yeah.
So
there was one I remember that we were down in Indiana somewhere early on, and I hadn't made any money in brackets. I hadn't made any money in jackpots or anything like that. And I remember yelling across the bowling center because I shot like 240. And I was like, Brian, I finally made money in a freaking jackpot.
I kind of remember that. That was one of your early events?
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through these real quick. I saw the Valparaiso, Indiana one, but that wasn't it. I don't know. You bowled so many. I can't go through all these. And you were traveling to them. You went to Cedar down in Sandusky. Yeah, I guess when you live where you're in St. John's, right?
Yeah.
So you're close. You're only like 15 minutes from where Scott Matthews is in Owasso, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
maybe 20 minutes ish.
Yeah, maybe 20. Yeah, and you guys lost your bowling center, so that sucks, right?
Yep, that one closed down shortly before COVID.
Yeah, super sad. That was a 12-laner, right?
Yep. 12 lanes, synthetic. I don't know what kind of synthetic though. You
said they have HPL. What do you call it? AMF HPL lanes over there. Nice little place, but it's the scary thing for me is it's hidden off the road so much. It's really hard to find. So that'd be a tough
if you don't advertise online, nobody knows it's there.
I know.
Half the people in St. John's didn't even know it was there.
Yeah, that's sad. Trying to find your event here. So again, look at the contrast. Look at all these cuts you've been making. And I know you just had a bad streak there where you missed a bunch again, but before that you were making every cut again too.
Yeah.
And now you're kind of back in that pattern again. So you've come a long ways, man.
Which I think this last streak right here where I hadn't been making cuts, I think just mentally I wasn't in the right space because that day that you had like the Midwest Major and then the Super Challenge event back to back on that same weekend in the same house,
Yep.
I lost just under $3,000 that weekend.
Holy.
So it was like, do I keep spending the money when I lose to Justin all the time and I lose to Justin, JR, Charlie Brown, guys like that, Ronnie
Brackets.
Sparks?
Yeah.
Is it really worth it? And then I just started doubting myself, and then that went on for a 6-month run of me not making a single cut, not making any money in brackets. And then luckily I broke that streak right before I went out to nationals.
Yeah, you did. I remember then you had a good nationals, right?
Yeah.
I think you said you had a bad team event maybe, but then you bowled
Yeah.
really good after that, right?
I shot like 530, I think,
That's not
in
terrible.
team event, and then in singles and doubles I went 697, 672.
Nice. Yeah, that's strong. Yeah, even the 9 games is pretty strong, really, overall.
Yeah, 1890 something, I think.
Yeah, that's good for sure. And yeah, I've been through that streak, man, and I was bowling them and running them at the same time. So not to minimize what you were going through, but no, I feel that pain of just, man, just like nothing. No, and it is strictly mental too. Like whatever you do is the wrong answer, no matter what, and it's because it's in your head that way.
Oh yeah.
For me, I needed to sit back, run events, and watch them for a while, and all of a sudden, I started seeing the shapes and seeing the picture better, as Kurt Pelon always says. But sometimes it takes some. And it's not the same for everybody. Sometimes you need to bowl your way out of it. Sometimes you need the time off. Who knows what it is when it is, right? You just kind of got to guess one way or the other and see if it works.
I was going to say, you got to take a guess, and hopefully your guess was right.
Yeah, and I feel like you bowled your way out of it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you had to because you had nationals coming up, so you didn't have time to just sit back and wait. So
I think honestly going to nationals was probably what got me out of it, because I started practicing for nationals a lot more because I didn't want to let the guys I was going out there with down. And then my spare shooting got significantly better, and my focus on my target got better. And then after that, it's just rolling the ball over your target.
Right, absolutely. So you got that was a good match too, and we'll get into that final match in a second. But you beat Roy Knickerbocker. Yeah, we got to lead up to that. So this was quite a day.
Yeah.
They had old anvil lanes there, so and actually for an anvil lane surface, which was like the old Brunswicks, they weren't really as crazy hooky as you would expect them to be, were they?
Not as much as I was honestly expecting.
Yeah.
They still did definitely hook, but it didn't seem like the fronts hooked as much as I was expecting.
Yeah, well, like a lot of those surfaces, they warp over time, and they actually seem like they're in decent shape. So we had 33 bowlers. Corey Roloff's crushed, absolutely crushed. And then we had Brad Momberg, local guy, which I'm glad he bowled good because no, that wasn't him. That was who was the guy that was working there and running back there all the time?
I believe it's one of the two guys that dropped out after 2.
That's right, Brad Bowser.
Yes.
Yeah, Momberg is the guy from Big Rapids. Yeah, poor Brad Bowser, man. God, that was such a bad day. I know in hindsight for you it was a good day, but honestly, with all the tournaments that I've run in my life, this was probably the most brutal as far as lane breakdowns, not having a mechanic, and just, it was just awful. They have did they have 12 lanes? And I think we were down to 4 lanes working by the time we left. That's how brutal it was.
Yeah.
And so anyway, there's our top 8 who made the cut. I think we paid Jason Kelly 9th. And there you were 7th. So you kind of snuck into that cut. And scores weren't that bad. Plus 83 is a decently high number for our tournaments.
I was going to say, scores were a lot higher than I was expecting. I thought I was out of it after I shot that 193.
I remember that. And this wasn't a very super challenging pattern. The MSBS Good Night pattern, named after one of our helpers, Samantha Knight. 42 feet. I want to say it's medium volume, if I remember right. 25 mils. Gutter is kind of iffy. And do you remember if the gutter played that day?
The gutter was out of play.
Out of play. Okay, and this was 4.52 to 1. So yeah, that's actually kind of a low number for as not hard as that pattern is. Actually, now that I look back at it. What were you were playing in all day?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the majority of the day, I started around 15 out to like 6, 7-ish.
Yeah,
But then I
makes
just
sense.
went left from there.
Yeah, if you look at the pattern, that makes sense. It's not ridiculously flat in the middle. So, I mean, I wouldn't even call this a challenge pattern. This is just kind of in between challenge and house.
Yeah,
But
I was going to say it really played more like a modified house shot.
yeah,
Like if you missed right of 5, it was pretty much gone. But if you got far enough left, you had hold.
right. And so match play, we got in there. Who did you bowl? You bowled Brad, and Brad, his last 2 events with us have been really good. Is he a no thumb guy? Do you remember?
No.
He does use it, but he gets some pretty good revs on the ball. And that was a heck of a match, 255 to 228 there. I remember that one going down to the wire.
I almost felt bad for him because in the 7th or 8th frames, back to back, he went bone 9, stone 8 pin, and I was like, damn.
That's what it was. I couldn't remember what it was, but
it should be way closer than what it is. But now he just gave me like a 30 pin lead, so I just don't do something stupid, and you move on in this match.
And you threw the strikes. I remember that you stepped up and threw the strikes, so it's not like you gave him any chance to get back in it. But and there was that opportunity. If you went up there and would have hold somewhere, he could have got right back in the match. So.
Oh yeah, I converted 210 and a PBA washout in that match.
Oh wow!
So it's not like I got it handed to me, but at the same time, it could have been closer than that 23 pins ish.
For sure, he had 27 pins. Yeah, that was a good match. Next round, you had Dale Strike. You probably don't even know Dale Strike. Dale Strike used to lead the world in 300s. Led the world like for many years actually. It was him and another guy from Saginaw, Joe Jimenez. They'd go back and forth with the lead in 300s, and he was a former. He was like back when there weren't PBA guys from Michigan. It was like him and John Mazza, I think Bob Chamberlain, and that was about it. It was pretty much those 3 guys, and Dale was mainly a regional guy, but he has a ton of regional titles. So that's who you knocked off there, 227, 202.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to tell you that before the match, but no, he's very, very decorated, man. He's done a lot in bowling. He's a senior now. I think he should be marked as a senior in there, but he's still really, really good. Do you remember much about that match?
Not a whole lot. I remember that I think I finally got into the blue coral in the beginning of that match.
Okay.
I think I was still throwing the pride before that.
Yeah, I don't remember that match either. I don't know why. I think this was probably when the place was really starting to fall apart at this point, I think. So this is when I was running around. I mean, it was kind of going on all day, quite frankly, but I think this is when some of the pairs really started to give us some fits.
I do remember that we were on 3 and 4 for that match, and we were supposed to go to 5 and 6 for the championship match, but 5 and 6 broke down right before we were supposed to go to it. Lane 6 stopped working, and I didn't have a single problem with 3 and 4 for that entire match. So I picked 3 and 4 again for the championship match, and then that's when all hell broke loose.
Lane 4, wasn't it lane 4 in the finals?
Lane 4 kept cycling the entire time.
It was like a ghost because everything mechanically said that because they were shutting everything off so it wouldn't happen, and it was still happening.
Yeah.
It was like possessed. I don't know what was going on with that, but this thing was cycling on its own and it shouldn't have been doing that. It was really wild. So yeah, that whole match, I want to say it probably took over a half hour to bowl.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, these matches should only be 15 to 20 minutes. It was probably closer to 40 minutes. And poor Bradley Bowser, he's running back and forth. He doesn't even. They had actually fired him like a couple weeks before that. And this place just has all kinds of issues. They're firing people they shouldn't be firing, and they're having personnel problems. They're big time. Not trying to knock on the house, but it's the truth. And Bradley, out of the kindness of his heart, he wanted to make sure our event ran good. He was bowling and trying to keep these lanes going, even though nobody had touched the machines in like a month. I think he got fired like a month before, and nobody was working there. So that's what we walked into, and he's the one that told us, and he came out and helped us. And yeah, what a mess. So what do you remember about that match other than that going on?
I mean, the fronts on both lanes started to hook a whole lot. So it was, for me, it wasn't really a struggle of getting to the pocket much anymore, but like carry percentage was absolutely horrendous. I could get it there, but everything I had that would get to the pocket was going to deflect. So I was either shooting 10 pins, or if I moved to not have a 10 pin, I'd 4 pin on almost every shot.
And you just had 227, so it changed
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, though. It's wild how that works. It happens. I see that a lot. Guys get the same pair that they finished the qualifying on. Maybe they had 279 and they come back with a 180 the next game. So.
Oh yeah. I do remember coming down to the 10th, and I thought I lost because I flat 10'd first ball in the 10th, and I was like, "You've got to be shitting me." I only needed the first one, and I'd have been fine. And then I turn around and I'm doing the math, and I'm like, "Shit, if I spare this 10 pin and strike, I beat him by 1."
Oh,
All right.
that's right. You finished it, so you won it by your math was off. That's right.
Yeah. So I made the 10 pin, which I had missed 3 of them earlier that day, and I was like, "All right, this is the most important 10 pin I'll ever shoot."
Yep, and it
Finally
was.
made a 10 pin, and then got up in the fill ball in the 10th, and I was like, "All right, just throw one of the best ones you've ever thrown."
And you did.
It was not even close. That was high. That was so high. That was a trip 4-7-10 to win.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
And I turned around and I was like, "Dude, I'm sorry." Like, I didn't want to win like that, but I wanted to win.
But it was kind of a testament to the day too. It was. I mean, you're sitting for so long waiting for your shot.
Oh yeah.
I think you had to sit in between your spare and your strike because it was re-racking again.
Which before I even bowled the 10th, Roy was like, "Dude, I don't even care. If you want to, just bowl it on lane 3 and we'll add the score in. I don't care anymore."
Yeah, we were to that point where we were all kind of just ready to get out of there. And I mean, at that point, what does it matter? Is 3 any easier than 4, you know?
Not really. I mean, I didn't have to be in front of the ball return on 3, but other than that, the lanes were playing almost the same.
Yeah. So I think there was actually only one pair working by the time we left, because that pair, that 3 and 4 was not one that was working at the end. So
if I remember right, 9 and 10 was the only pair that was still up.
Yeah, that's how it was, one of the higher pairs. Yeah, 9 and 10 sounds right. So we got some people. Oh, Redbeard Bowling, you were in there talking.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you needed your card to bowl the super regionals.
I think you don't, but I think the card holders get first dibs.
Gotcha.
I think tour guys get first dibs, and I think the regional guys get second dibs. I might be wrong on that, but then I think it's open to amateurs at that point. So I don't remember, though, that they've changed those rules over the years, so I'm not really sure. Joan Jackson says hi. Joe Hutchings called you fat. That's not very nice.
Well, I know.
Oh, he might have been calling me fat, but whatever. Allegan was brutal, he says. Yeah, they were hard. That was a tough one. Allegan was a tough house. You got broken quick with that one.
Oh, yeah. I went out there with, like, the best 4 guys that I knew from St. John's. And these are all guys that I grew up bowling with, and, like, I idolized 2 of them. And I was like, all right, we'll just go try. I'm more than likely going to be the weakest link. No. I watched one of the guys that I idolized shoot 320 for 3, and I was like, oh my God. He's never going to bowl with me again.
I think we had breakdowns that day too, didn't we?
I don't remember any breakdowns, but at the same time, that was...
I've run other events there, so maybe that was the other events. I know they have old AMF 8230s, and nobody has those machines. You can't even get parts for those machines. So I remember that being an issue. It might have been a different event, but that was a fun event, though. And we had strong teams there that day.
Yeah, I was not one of them.
Yeah, that was a great event. What else did Joe say? Probably Anderson. I was not. Oh, Anderson, Indiana. Is that what he was saying? Where you shot 240? Did you bowl that event?
I've bowled all over Indiana and Ohio. The farthest I've went was all the way over to Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah, Joe's probably right. It was probably Anderson. Yeah, we had a huge... That was the COVID year, so we were getting... I think we had 80 or 90 people down there for that one.
Yeah.
And then Joe Jackson.
I do remember going down there for that.
Yeah, it's cool little... Well, it's like not little. It's like 44 lanes or something.
Yeah, the one that's almost in... Looks like it's in a shopping mall type thing. Strip mall.
Is it? I don't remember. No, that's Provo West.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Same owner, but different place. And Joan Jackson says hi, and so much hard work and dedication, Cam. And you killed it at National. So great to watch. Yeah, you were bowling with Tony out there, weren't you? Or did they just come watch you guys?
They just came out to watch us because Tony and Joan both moved back out there, but
Yeah.
Tony was waiting until he turned 50 so he could be in the senior division.
Makes sense. Yeah. And he's 50. Was it June or something?
I believe it was June 16th.
Okay, that sounds right. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a bit, but yeah, those guys were fun when they were out here living. He makes some killer salsa too.
We'll just have to take a trip out to Vegas.
I'm down.
Run a tournament out there.
Yeah. We talked about running one in Alaska, and we actually had quite a bit of interest, so that might be interesting.
I would love to go to Alaska, but like.
So this guy bowls our tournaments, Eric. What the heck is his last name? Eric Lambert, and he's from. He's from Juneau, and I didn't know this. Like, you know how Juneau is down on those islands down in the south part,
yeah,
like right next to Canada.
Yeah,
you can't fly there. You have to fly north of there and then take a
get on a
boat.
boat.
Take a boat south, and it doesn't look like it's a very short. I think he said it's like a 5-hour boat trip.
Wow,
it's no joke, man. Because I mean, like if it were a drive, it'd be like a half an hour or something.
Yeah.
But it's a freaking boat, right? But that would be awesome to have a tournament at it. I think it's his dad's house. He owns the bowling center up there. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, Tony said, "Come on over. They'll make some carne asada and salsa." Yeah. So I went over there to their house when they were living in Lansing, and they made because they knew I had the heart issues going on. They made sodium-free salsa. Unbelievable! It was so good, and it's healthy. So I mean, why not?
Yeah.
And his tacos were good too. So that was some good stuff. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do a Vegas event. I know a couple guys have done that, and they've done well with it. Mike Flanagan had one out there. So
don't tell me it was a good time.
No,
I can't wait to go back to Vegas.
You got me thinking, man. My wheels are turning. I got a new live stream guy too, so maybe he can go out there and help us stream the event. There you go. You got what do you got planned? I know your thumb's all a rotten potato right now or something.
Yeah.
All chewed up.
If I can get it to focus.
It doesn't look terrible. It's red, obviously.
Yeah, that whole area right in there. After I bowled the Memorial Day Challenge, it was like the entire side of my thumb, like from there all the way up into there. And I just haven't let it fully heal since. So
yeah, I still think you need to do what I do and just don't let the sides of your thumb touch the ball. That's what I think. If you can find a fit like that and make the top and bottom tight, that might fix that problem.
Which I was looking into just buying like 7 or 8 different switch grips, so I didn't have to plug and re-drill a whole bunch of different balls. But I don't know how much can you actually manipulate the fit in a switch grip before you end up just drilling through the side of it.
Decently, my thumb is super oval. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. I'm having trouble here. It's hard to see, but I have a super oval thumb, and they have different sizes, so that you can do it pretty oval.
Gotcha.
Because the bigger the size, it's solid. You're leaving a lot of space on the side. I think they have a 1
inch and a quarter.
I was gonna say inch and 3/8. Inch and a quarter is the biggest one.
I think so.
And I wouldn't think your thumb, like your probably normal thumb hole size is what, 15/16, or is it an inch?
Front to back, he uses a 980 drill bit and then bevels it side to side using the same drill bit.
So he's doing the same thing. So a slug is basically a switch grip. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same size. So yeah, you can do a pretty big oval and it won't touch it. Even if they do get into the side a little bit, it doesn't really matter. Well, with a switch grip, it would. You're right. Not a slug, it wouldn't matter, but a switch grip, it definitely would matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't have a problem with that. But your thumb might be bigger than mine, so I guess I can't say that for sure. But you can always do molds too. I did that for a little while.
Do they actually feel right?
They do, but the problem I had was they were falling out. I can't remember, but there's different companies that make them. The molds we were using, they were just sliding out of the ball. It was the same kind of thing. It was hitting the side, which with a normal slug, it doesn't matter. But with those, they were just flying out of the ball.
Gotcha.
But there might be better quality ones where that wouldn't happen. So,
Tony, I'm not going to pay to shorten my span on 17 different bowling balls. Plus,
Yeah,
then
that's a
all
lot.
of my arsenal is basically junk for the PBA events because you can't have any plugged balls.
Right. I hate when your wheels turn. Oh boy. Stephen A 5464. How you doing? Do you know? Oh, is that Steve Steve? Is it Altabello? Who's the guy that bowled my tournament last night? Not Altabello. I can't remember his name. I think that might be him. But anyway, so what do you got coming up? I know you're taking a little break to let your thumb heal.
August 2nd, I believe, is the first one that I plan on trying to make it to.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
bring
you
up the
got.
schedule real quick.
Well, I got you right here. Let me look. I'm not going to switch over the screen, but you signed up for some of ours. Let me scroll up. Yeah, Charlene's, right?
Yeah. So that's the next one that I'm going to try to make it to if my
Okay.
thumb is fully healed. And then August 8th after that. And then we should get into the roll-offs. So I'm
Yeah.
obviously going to try to make it to the Royal Scott lower mid roll-off, which with my thumb the way it is, I'm not going to get one of the auto cash spots, but still going to bowl it.
Yeah, we still got the sponsors in that region, so that's nice.
Yeah. I was thinking about going down to the South roll-off as well the following Tuesday at Jack 60.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's probably going to be the overall roll-off.
The big championship, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you put on some challenge events between August 2nd and then.
Yeah, probably not as much. August, there's so many tournaments going on, but we might still add one more in August. But
yeah,
there's a lot of events going on, and then September and October, I almost shut things down because everybody's back in league mode at that point. So,
because then you get into league bowling and all the kids going back to school and everything else.
Yeah, every year I go away from like I'm gonna run some events, and I run them, and we get 15 people, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. I just can't keep doing that because those are just bad months for tournaments.
Yeah, especially if gas prices don't drop any before then.
That's brutal, man.
It just doesn't make sense for you to drive all over to run tournaments when 15 guys show up because then everybody there's losing money.
And the bowlers don't want to travel either because it's costing them too much money too. So for sure, but all right. Well, this has been a longest interviews we've done. So, but I think they went pretty good. So I appreciate you showing up for it. And
not a problem. I do feel like you kind of had it backwards though. Like I should have been the warm up for Scott. That way when Scott came in, it's like, all right, now we got the real guy here.
Oh, come on. I don't know. They're both good stories. Like I said, you've probably, and there's been a few you guys, like you and Matt, Potato Guy. What the heck?
Matt Crawford.
I always want to call him Matt Carpenter because we have a Matt Carpenter too. But you and Matt Crawford, and there's a whole bunch of other guys too who you guys paid your dues, man. And you guys struggled bad early on. Matt was another one. He wasn't even close to making cuts. And now we got to get him in here because he won a title too.
Oh yeah,
so
sure.
We'll have to get him on an interview pretty soon. I know he's pretty busy right now with his potato farm in the summer, but we'll get him in.
Yeah,
we'll find time for him.
I was talking to him on Tuesday, and he said he was having issues with his irrigation and stuff.
Oh, so Stephen A is Scott Matthews' teammate. Yeah, you missed it, Stephen, but it's in if you go to our YouTube page and refresh. Oh, it's Steve Gerald.
Yeah, Steve Gerald. He's my Thursday teammate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Scott Matthews we already had, but you can go back and watch all this, Steve. So I know whenever Tony says his name, it sounds like he's saying Steve Jaros. I'm like, Steve Jaros? That's kind of cool. But it's Steve Gerald.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks again, man. I'm going to log off here and get some work done. So
not a problem.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have anything to bowl if you weren't running stuff.
No, I appreciate it, man. I wouldn't be able to run anything if you guys didn't bowl. So I always say that back. So I appreciate you guys coming out.
Not a problem.
Keeps me going. So have a good one and keep up the good work, man.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We're going to wrap this up. And yeah, this was a long one, 47 minutes of interviews today. So thanks everybody. Have a good day.